Hi everybody, this is Jim Egan, head of school, Synapse School with a Friday update. Here we are, Friday. Next week's the last week of school for us at Synapse in 2024. We're in this holiday season, this funny time. Lots of schools are in this funny time where you have a few weeks between the holidays. And you always seem to make, I always seem to make the mistake of packing in a little too much in December. So we've got a lot going on. We have had events. We had an SEL event that was really well attended this week. We had a student panel. We had a high school kid come back and talk about the impact of a school that is socially and emotionally forward, right? We're SEL forward school, and what that does to create learners and sound human beings. We had an alumni panel for those thinking about high school already. So parents came to that. That was on Zoom. Just again, to hear these high schoolers talk about their experience at Synapse and how it relates to their high school program, academically, socially, environmentally, right? What it means and what it has done for them. They talk about the CMOs. While they're here, they're like, oh gosh, the CMOs. But then they're like, oh yeah, the CMOs, they matter. Risk matters, advocacy matters, communication matters. They talked about SEL, again, about recognizing patterns. When they're here, they're like, oh, do we have to reflect on recognizing patterns? And then they get off, they're seniors in high school, and they're like, oh yeah, noble goal. That'd be really important to think about right about now. So we see and hear anecdotally the fruits of the Synapse experience. And we heard that this week. There's also a number of other things going on. We had a holiday party with staff last night. Wow, was that fun. And it really isn't just about having fun as individuals. Like, the collective camaraderie is good for the individual soul as well as the collective soul of a community. So thanks teachers and board members and friends of Synapse, Reiki Center, Freddie at the Grill, Sports House people came. It was, I had a great time. And then also what's going on right now for parents, you know this, conferences. And you also know that if you want a good education or a great education, you need to have great teachers. It's pretty much that simple, right? And it's also important to understand that teaching isn't an engineering problem. It's not taking the information from one person's head, if I'm the teacher, and giving it to a student and putting it in their head. That's not how it works. You know, the quantity of information from one brain to the next. To educate means to lead forth. And that's what our teachers are doing right now, right? It's to inspire, to lead forth and empower. And so I hope you feel in these conferences, parents, that you are seeing and hearing from teachers about your child and how they are hopefully awakening your child's potential, leading them forward, to recognize their good patterns and their bad patterns. And that is essential, I think, for a great education. We have great teachers. We're really proud of them. They're also a lot of fun. Last night, like I said, at the party, we had a good time. Somebody even picked my pocket. I will not sell that teacher out. But that great teacher was having fun last night too. So you can be a wonderful, warm, competent, professional educator and have fun too. Okay, so let's move on to something I've been thinking a lot about, and that's child development, right? We have kids here from age 4 to 14, and that's an incredible developmental journey, that span, ages 4 to 14. That's what we do here. Cover that range. And sometimes I hear from the adults that they're flummoxed, confused, concerned, anxious about behaviors. I have a book that we reference all the time. I got this book years ago. It's the 4th edition now. It's called Yardsticks. Parents, it's just a great read. All the teachers here have access to it, most of them have read through it, and it's something you can dip in and out of regarding the age and stage of a child. And so, I looked at it again, the growth patterns of a 6-year-old, for example, right? Those are sort of the kindergartners, maybe some 6s in first grade too, but and it has the physical development, right? They're noisy, sloppy, in a hurry. Fingers are sometimes clumsy, and tasks need slowing down or repeated practice. They work in spurts, and they will tire easily. It goes into the social and emotional development of children. Tremendous capacity for enjoyment, 6-year-olds, but they can be bossy, teasing, critical of others. Bossy behavior is sometimes related to competition for friendships. They tend to complain frequently. They use tantrums, teasing, bossing, complaining, and reporting on classmates to try out relationships with authority. They need adult understanding, but also clear boundaries. They care deeply about friends. They enjoy working in groups, like doing things for themselves too, though, ready to try things individually and take on group responsibility. And they're sometimes poor sports, dishonest, may invent new rules. Wow, I haven't seen that here before on the playground. So they can win. Cooperation is a challenge, and activities take time, right? And so they can be fierce. They can be anxious. They can be sensitive. I think it would behoove parents to take a look at Yardsticks. Pick it up. It's a great book. If you want to borrow my copy, first come, first serve. It's by Chip Wood. But it's important to understand that kids are on a developmental continuum, and that behaviors that you might think as an adult are disconcerting could very well may be normal for a 5-year-old or an 8-year-old or a 12-year-old, or as I said here, a 6-year-old. The book also gives parents and educators benchmarks and snippets of information regarding kids' abilities in the classroom too, right? Reading, writing, and math, right? This is, I just opened this up to, let's see, this is 6-year-olds again, in terms of math. The typical kid this age can do mental mathematics and written problem solving after they've mastered the necessary skills with concrete materials, do basic computation with money, experiment with reversing operations, plus and minus, do lots of measuring, work with manipulatives, writing. They can do story development, begin spelling, handwriting, proper grasp of pencil starts to emerge. So go through this. It's really interesting, very easy read, and I think it may ease some anxieties for the adults around their own kids or the children in the classroom too, that there are differences within a classroom. Like I said, it's a spectrum. And that leads me to my final thought around differences. We all have them, and it is a season that is celebratory. I think it's really important that everyone understand that Synapse is a community that doesn't just tolerate or allow for differences, but we celebrate differences of behavior, differences of learning, differences of viewpoints, differences of cultures, differences of community. We are going to celebrate individual kids. We're going to celebrate their differences. We're going to celebrate adults giving out high fives all the time and hugs. That's what we do here. And this is the season of celebration. Let's lean into that, just as the teachers did last night, and have a great final week next week. Pajamas and pancakes next Friday. Remember that, teachers, parents, kids will not forget. Okay, have a super weekend. Take care.